another episode of a Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. I'm your host, Adam. And like always, I want to welcome you. Thank you for listening and watching and tuning in to these great interviews, great episodes. And we have remarkable individuals, outstanding individuals that are doing great things out there in different industries, different parts of the world, different countries, such as today. We have a very special guest all the way from Peru. He was telling me it's the sacred valley of the Incas. He's not only an author, he's an event speaker, he's a mindful leadership coach for life and business, and he's also the director of Catalina Retreat Center in Peru. I want to welcome Daniel Gutierrez to the show this morning. Daniel, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Adam. I'm excited about this.
Absolutely. And I know we had to reschedule because you were doing some moving and we want to make sure we have the proper connections. And, you know, I'm glad for your flexibility. I'm glad for your willingness to be on the program. We have a mutual friends connection through LinkedIn. We made the connection. I saw your profile and I thought it was very impressive of everything that you're doing, especially all the way from Peru. So why don't we start asking you, as director of the Catalina Retreat Center, first and foremost, what is a retreat center? What is its mission? Its vision, and how are you doing as a director?
Yeah, you bet. Well, I am the director and owner of the property, and I just moved. What you're seeing behind me is the actual new Catalina. I was in Catalina Pisac. And 4 weeks ago, which is why we had to reschedule because I had no internet. and in this part of the world, they don't have internet, and the owner before me didn't have internet 20 years before I got here. And he says, how did you get internet in a week? I said, I didn't ask him. I told him it's going to get done. So they put me a tower up. Anyway, Catalina is a retreat center here in San Salvador, Peru. And I sit on about 14 and a half acres of land with waterfalls, rivers, forest. And we sit up on a, if you could see that mesa that the property sits on, overlooking the sacred valley of the Incas. Why the sacred valley of the Incas? Well, this valley was how the Incas ate. Because like the California breadbasket, this is the sacred valley of the Incas, where corn, cawicha, all the great grains grow here, right?
Yep.
And I moved out here, Adam, 6 months before the pandemic started. So if you could imagine, I make this huge investment. I get out here. I have 50 groups scheduled to show up, and they shut me down. I mean, Peru was shut down for 180 days. That means that most of that time I was alone. I was literally by myself. We were under martial law, so military were in the streets. You couldn't pretty much do anything when you wanted to. My employees couldn't come to work. And there I was on this property by myself. And so now, Catalina, San Salvador, we sleep 15 right now. So you can bring a group of 15 or a family of 15. And basically, the mission behind this is to offer a place of peace and tranquility, a piece of peace and tranquility. Catalina is the name of my mother. She passed away about 5 years ago. And so, that's where Catalina came from, and that's where the name came from.
That is amazing. That I think when you use your mother's name, your family ancestry to name a place such as this, it just has different meaning, different value. Well, I'm glad that now, we're getting through and over the pandemic, and you're going to be able to now, relaunch, your entire vision of this retreat center and be able to welcome groups into your property. But what is the purpose? Is it like religious groups? Is it a retreat for businesses, for companies? What is the purpose of the retreat center?
Well, my idea was to create a space for other people like myself, authors, writers, group leaders. I've had Lutherans, I've had Boy Scouts. It's really just a center designed for anybody who wants to bring a group. Business, I've had business executives come out and get away from their busy world. Because when you get out here in the mountains, I'm in the Andes of Peru. I'm literally looking at mountains all around me. The biggest one right in front of me is 16,000 feet. I sit about 10,200 feet. And so it's designed to be a place to retreat to, Corporate uses it for meetings. Religious people use it for retreats.
Yeah.
Individuals like myself, authors that have a following, they say, hey, I've got room for 15. You want to go to Peru? And they come.
Yeah, and they come. Wow, that's amazing. So for any group listening out there, whether it's a faith entity, a nonprofit, a corporate, or whatever you belong to, you want a nice place for a retreat, for team building, or just to get away.
Yes.
Just to have a time of synergy and build relationships. And if you have a group of 30 people and you just don't trust any of them, take them to Peru. Go to the retreat center, build trust. But you know
That's
what?
right.
We're speaking with Daniel Gutierrez, the director and owner of Catalina Retreat Center in Peru. If anybody wants more information of this amazing destination, this amazing location, there is a website, and it's going to be in the bottom of your screen for those who are watching the program. And those who are listening, I'm going to say it right now. It's www.catalinaretreatcenterperu.com. It's very simple. Catalina Retreat Center Peru, PERU.com. And Daniel's direct email address is Daniel, DANIEL, at Daniel Gutierrez, R1T, Gutierrez.com. Again, it'll be in the bottom of your screen for anybody that's interested to reach out to Daniel or visit the website. There's going to be more information there that you can see the amazing services, amazing resources, amazing retreat center that Daniel oversees over in Peru. That is amazing. I'm actually intrigued to see if I can maybe look into it, and see if we can visit out there for sure. So, now, looking into your bio and LinkedIn, Daniel, you're not only an author, but you're a public speaker, an event speaker. You're a motivational coach, a mindful leadership coach for life and business. What encouraged you, or what fueled you, or what was your passion behind that, Daniel, to want to coach others in mindful leadership? What's the train of thought behind that?
Adam, I grew up with hardly nothing. My family, my mother worked in the tomato fields. There was no babysitter. I had to sit in the truck and wait all day while she worked, and then get us home. And then she'd put us to bed. There was 3 of us. She was a single mother. And then she'd go to work again at night, and all my life, I just kept saying, there's got to be more to life than this.
Yeah.
There really is. Not putting anything down with our parents or our ancestors.
Yeah.
But I didn't want that life. I didn't want to work so hard. I wanted to work with my mind, not my hands. And so throughout life, I've always looked for opportunities, Adam, to help me get a little further, but also looking back and bringing up those behind me and saying, here, let's see what we can do to help you. What are you looking for? I think too much is given, much is expected. And I've had a very beautiful career. I've had a very successful career. And throughout that entire time, I've always remembered, my mother working in the fields, 2 jobs, we had shoes that we had to keep wearing over and over again because you didn't have the money, right? And a lot of us did. And so that kind of fueled my need to write. I'm writing my 6th book right now. My first one was Stepping into Greatness, Success is Up to You. My last book was Radical Mindfulness. And the one I'm writing now is The Audacity of Courage. Always looking back to make sure I'm helping others. And I think that when you're successful and you come from little means, I think that most people that come from those places tend to be more helpful, more willing to look back and help other people. And that's what's kind of fueled everything for me was, well, if I can help someone else. I had a lot of help too. I didn't do all this on my own, right? People were there when I needed them, and they continue to be there when I need them. So I think that fuels me into continuing to be better and better at what I do, and in coaching others to do the same.
Well, Daniel, I get really encouraged and motivated when I hear you speak like that. We also know Frank Carvajal, who, he has the same upbringing. I have the same upbringing. My parents worked the fields in Salinas, California. The lettuce world and chile and fresa and onions. And so, it's to understand where you come from, to understand the struggle, to understand how our parents had to work double time, overtime, during holidays, on the weekends, and they entrusted us, even though we were young, to take care of our siblings,
Yes.
and they gave us, enough. They gave us just what we needed, enough, right? So to me, I understood since a young age, Daniel, that I couldn't have the Nike sneakers that my friends had. I couldn't have the sports, jackets that everybody had back in the day. They call it the parkas. Not because I didn't deserve it, just because I understood that we were limited, and I didn't want to put my parents through, or my mom especially, through that stress where I want that, I want. So I understood at a young age, I'll get what I need for right now to get by in life. I was sharing in another episode, to us, going to a nice family dinner, believe me, Daniel, was McDonald's on a Friday night. That was our family.
Right.
That was our nice treats for family dinner. Nowadays it's Cheesecake Factory and Larson's and
right.
California Pizza Kitchen, right? So
Right.
so it's I'm always very touched and moved to hear stories like yours, because this is why, because we understand so much of the sacrifice and what the value of a working family, that now we want to give back. We want to make sure we help others. We want to make sure
Yes.
we share our experiences and our journey to help others, be successful. And that's what it's all about. And that's why I admire and respect individuals like you, Frank Carvajal, and others. I have a good friend, Josh Diggs, who they always just want to give back because they understand, the meaning, how much we value life. So thank you so much, Daniel, for sharing that. We're speaking with Daniel Gutierrez. He's the director and owner of Catalina Retreat Center in Peru, the sacred valley of the Incas. If anybody wants to get a hold of Daniel, he actually has a website where you can learn more about his books. Book him to speak at an event. Get some coaching on for life. And his website is www.danielgutierrez.com. It'll be in the bottom of your screen as well, so you can have reference to it and visit him. Send him an email, reach out. This is great stuff, Daniel. It looks like you're doing amazing things just to give back to the people, to be a resource to people. And that's what it's all about. People say we only live once. The reality is that, Daniel, we die once. We live every day. So
Every day.
we have to take advantage of that. The other day I posted on LinkedIn, hey, make a difference today. Tell me, what did you do today to have an impact on somebody? Did you pay somebody's groceries? Did you go visit a neighbor? Did you visit a relative? Did you go play softball with your nieces and nephews? Did you take your daughter and son to get an ice cream and just have a conversation with them? What did you do today to have an impact where you're disconnected from the social media, you're disconnected from technology? What did you do in the world today that's related to the human element connection, Daniel, that doesn't exist anymore? It just doesn't exist. Right?
No,
It's technology, it's cell phones, it's social media, it's tablets, it's iPads, it's everything is driven by social media, digital, and and we've lost the essence of the human element of things, which is human mankind. So let's make a change. Let's be a different. Let's be a Daniel Gutierrez. Let's look out for others. Let's help others. Right? So I'm very excited. I'm very moved by what you're doing, Daniel. And it takes me to the next the next segment. Why did you choose Peru? Why did you choose another country? What made you decide to move, at so far of a destination?
Wow, that's an interesting question, because a lot of things were in a perfect storm. I had been coming to Peru for over 10 years, bringing groups. And so I already knew Peru. Why? To come see Machu Picchu. Everybody wants to see Machu Picchu, right? That's why I got here. I came to Machu Picchu. And honestly, I've had many people say, why not Mexico? That's where your, raíces are from. Why all the way to Peru? And you don't know anybody, and you don't know the system there, and blah, blah, blah. It went on and on. The truth is that something always drew me here. It always drew me here. And there was a point a few years back where my mother had passed away. That's Catalina. And my son was graduating high school, and he didn't go to the movies with me anymore. He didn't go fishing with me anymore. And I thought, wow, I'm going to be alone. Now, what does Daniel Gutierrez want for his life? Yeah. What does Daniel want to do different? And I was already tired of the rat race. I was tired of flying from LA to New York and New York to LA. And it was just like, there's got to be more to life than this. So when my son graduated high school, I said, mijo, I'm going to move to Peru. He says, yeah, right, Dad. right there, you know.
Ver
and
para
I
creer.
¿verdad? And you know what? I want to share this because someone said, how could you leave your son? You guys were so close. I said, I didn't leave him. I just changed the relationship that we had. But there was
Yeah.
one thing that I shared with him before I left that was important. And I said, mijo, I could never expect you to pursue your dreams if I'm unwilling to pursue my own. And this is something I have to do for me. It may not look like it's for you, but it is.
Yeah.
It is. Right.
Wow.
And I made that move
Yeah.
because we have to pursue our own dreams and desires. You know, we can't just tell our children. I used to look at my mom and go, you know, I used to hear my friends, dads would give them consejos, ideas, and do this and be this way. And my mother never told me nothing except, you know, throw a chancla at me or something, you know. I was like, what did my mom teach me? But you know what? I was driving down the 405 in Los Angeles one day, and I just started crying because I realized at that moment that my mom never gave me good words. She showed me with her strength and her physicality and by action how to be strong. She didn't give me those things that I was looking for, but she gave me the desire to fight. She gave me a desire to never quit. Those are the things that my mother taught me, and those things are hard to teach, right? And that's what I was teaching my son. I was teaching my son through action. I'm going, mijo, I'm going. And we both may cry for a long time because we're going to separate, but it's only for a little while, mijo. It's only for a little while.
Yeah. You know, sometimes, you know, decisions, Daniel, we don't understand them at the moment, but later on in the road, later on in our journey, we have those aha moments like, okay, now I understand. Now I get why that decision. Now I get why that situation. Now I get why my father made that decision. And now I get it, you know. And so it's amazing how you just mentioned something that's very key. Many times, you know, parents, you know, without really knowing, you know, Daniel, they trained us, they showed us, they groomed us, they built us by their actions.
Yes.
Right. And without them really knowing what they were doing to us in a good way, like, man, when I remember my mother and my father getting up at 4 a.m, doing their lonche, packing their lonchera with you know their mug of coffee, and every morning was the same thing, and you know what that taught me, you know, Daniel, was responsibility, dedication, commitment. They understood that job put food on the table, and I say this for a reason. That nowadays all this is taken for granted. All this is all about corporate America, and it's all about cars and assets and bonus and crypto and investments, which is all good. Don't get me wrong, but they've lost the essence of what work really meant, to really work for your salary. It's, you know, it's amazing how much we can relate in that aspect. You know, and my mother, you know, God bless her heart, she worked many years in the fields, and so did my father. And you know, my mother's still going strong. She's a 2-time cancer survivor. She worked in the fields. You know, she's going strong. She's going to be turning 70 next year. You know, so to me, it's like she's lived a long life. I'm sure your parents too. Like, you have so many fond memories, and now you go back and say, you know what? It's because of how the upbringing that I had, what they taught me with their actions. Is sometimes, you know, we see it reflected in our decisions and the direction we went in our life, right? And now how we're being with our children as well. You know, so you know, I commend you, Daniel, for number one.
Thank you.
You know, your relationship with your son, the knowing that you have to make those difficult decisions in order to do something better in life. Number two, for making this radical decision, you know, and have the courage to just move to a totally different country. But number three, honoring, you know, the name of your mother, honoring your family, honoring the history. There's no better way than to honor, recognize, and really hold to value, you know, what your mother means, her name, to actually name the business Catalina Retreat Center after her. So that is amazing stuff, Daniel. And I commend you for sharing that. I know sometimes it's difficult sharing history, sharing past, sharing, you know, relationships, but sometimes it's needed because our story or our journey may impact somebody else, what they're going through. We never know that, so thank you for that. I'm sure we're going to have a second episode to talk about all your books that you've written. I think that's something amazing that we can do. This 25-minute interview really just gives us a time to do an introduction to Daniel Gutierrez, and there's just so much to talk about. So having said that, we're speaking with Daniel Gutierrez all the way from Peru, the Sacred Valley of the Incas. He's a director and owner of Catalina Retreat Center, where corporates, nonprofits, the faith community can go out there and just have a great time with a group of synergy, team building, quality time, building trust, relationships. All that is great. To visit, to learn more, about Daniel or this retreat center, you can visit the website. It's going to be in the bottom of your screen, Catalina Retreat Center, Peru.com. Daniel's website is danielgutierrez.com, and the email to get a contact with Daniel is daniel@danielgutierrez.com. So Daniel, this takes us now to the last and final question, last segment of this interview, which has been amazing and very revealing to learn more from you. I want to just ask you this. So what's next for you? What's next for Daniel? Are you going to open up another retreat, another country? Are you going to write another book? Are you going to bring your son over to Peru to help you operate? What's next? Or do you feel that you've already accomplished and checked off everything on your bucket list? Or do you still feel you have a lot more to give?
I've had a full life, Adam. I've done a lot of things. I've worked where I never thought I could have. Life has been good to me. And someone asked me, how do I know that I made the right decision? And I always say this: when I get up in the morning, there's no hot water in my kitchen, so I have to boil water. Right? This is the difference in living in Los Angeles and living here. There's no hot water, so I boil water. I grind my beans and I make my coffee in that little thing that you put on the stove, right? I walk outside with my dogs, and Adam, my soul smiles from the inside out. Like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. And when I was in corporate, when I was in the US, there was always something bigger for me to chase, a bigger carrot. I've been on the cover of 4 magazines. I wanted 5. I closed $1 million deal. I wanted 2. I closed this job. I wanted that. I was a president of this organization. I want to be president of that. I don't have that desire out here anymore. I don't feel like my life is empty. I don't feel like there's anything to feel. However, I am writing my 6th book right now, The Audacity of Courage, The Agony and Ecstasy of Living Your Dreams in a World Pandemic. Wow. And maybe there'll be Catalina Lake Titicaca. Maybe there'll be Catalina La Selva. I don't know. Right. But I'm driven to grow, but not from the sense of the proverbial carrot that corporate seems to put in front of me. I mean, I remember the options I'd always get, we're going to give you 1,000 more options. You know what I learned about that in my world? In this day and time, not like our parents or parents' parents, companies don't stay open. You can't, look at Mattel. They went out. Big companies have come and gone. And what happened to your stock options, mijo? Nothing. Nothing. So I put my stock options today in Pachamama, Mother Earth. I put my stock options in living the land every day. I put my stock options in the people of Peru. And that fulfills me. That fulfills me. So thank you for asking me, and thank you for having me on your show. And I'd love to come back and talk about 1 or 2 of the books, when that time's ready, when that time's right for us.
No, absolutely. And for those listening and watching this later on, they're probably thinking like, oh, he's living, in paradise. He's living, in the tropical forest in Peru. Well, let me tell you what he goes through. Daniel the other day tried to order get some ice, and they gave him a bag with frozen water. I saw your post and I thought that was pretty brilliant. We live in a valley that I asked for ice and I got a bag of frozen water, right? So it's not all it's not all pretty flowers and sun and palms, guys. He has his own struggles. No. It's not like he can be like us and just drive to 7-Eleven and get a bag of ice. They gave him a little bag of frozen water, which I thought was so funny.
That's right.
Daniel, I want to thank you so much for your time.
That cracked me up. Thank you.
I want to thank you for your time, for sharing your heart and sharing your vision, your dream with all of us. And I was serious. I'm going to look into this retreat center because I have a big family.
Good.
And they're all Christian singers, and we don't like each other.
Wonderful.
So I want to make sure we take them there so we can get more united. But Anyways, we've been speaking to Daniel Gutierrez, the director and owner of Catalina Retreat Center in Peru, the secret valley of the Incas. I want to thank you so much, Daniel, for your time. All his information contact information is going to be in the bottom of the screen. And like always, continue watching this program, continue subscribing, continue supporting, watch on YouTube, all digital platforms, look at my website, follow me on all social media platforms. Your support is greatly appreciated. So once again, you've been watching another episode of A Candid Conversation with Adam Lopez. I am Adam. Until next time, and have a great rest of the week. Take care.